Well, we are at volume 21, and we still have more pictures to go through, and I don't know how many. A lot of these pictures are pictures I did not see. They were scans of photographs and negatives and all kinds of other things that my father and mother have put away somewhere so that I would not see for whatever strange reason, because everything was a secret to my parents. It's, I didn't even know that my mother was Veronica until after she died, because everybody called her Vera, and no one ever told me what her real first name was. Even, I don't know. My family was complex, and I was warned. I was warned by my mother's psychiatrist that my father will start hoarding everything. So I better be careful, because he's the kind of guy, and it's not just him, it's other people that grew up during the war, where first the Germans took everything away. They took all their factories away, their lands to build aircraft and make landing fields and all kinds of stuff like that. In those days, my family were like the Rockefellers, and it was really it was unbelievable the wealth that they accumulated. But my father never ever talked about it. He never said anything, even though I look at the pictures and I said, why are you sitting in a glider? You know, I mean, a very beautiful modern glider for the time, even by today's standards. And I couldn't even believe the stuff that they had. And my dad would make up all these stories that, oh yeah, we rented it, or it was the neighbors, or made up stories. And when of course, the only way I knew that it was, all a lie is that when I went to my aunt's house and looked through their pictures, she had a set of the pictures, almost the exact same pictures as my dad had. And then, of course, I'd be explaining. I was the only guy in the family who seemed to know anything about all these pictures, because I was always interested in them when I was a kid. And I'd be explaining it to my other cousins, and of course my aunt would interject and say, "What are you talking about?" And most of the stuff my dad told me wasn't true. So, whatever. Anyway, this is in France, this is in Paris. Like when my dad lived in Paris. He also lived in Paris, but only after the war. It's also a very interesting story. I need to find myself an editor because I actually found the true story, what occurred after he left. But the thing is that after the Germans were retreating, when the Russians were coming in, they started blowing up everything. So they blew up everything that they had built, everything that they had changed. Factories of my grandfather to make bullets and all kinds of stuff like that were all destroyed. And then the Russians came and were stealing all the machinery and all the metal from the machinery. So one of my aunts, that in one of my previous movies, was the one who was sent out by my grandfather to hide all the machinery underground, because there was no concrete in those days. There was no concrete at the end of the war. She had to build these pits using wood, big beams and stuff like that. She didn't do it. She had their people do it. Whoever was left, they had lots of employees and stuff like that from the... anyway, the Russians were coming, and oh my God, and then the Russians stole everything again. And so when this happens to certain types of people, they become hoarders. They start to become very secretive, and they're hiding things. My dad was amazing, Anyway, in that area. Anyway, let's continue. Alright, what's going on here? Here we go. I have no idea who this is. Alright. I wish I'd seen these pictures before, but everything was a secret. It's very interesting. This must have been just after the war, but I don't know for sure. Now there's an officer here. It's not German, so it must be. And it's in France. Okay, is that the end of the pictures?